Hey everybody, look at me. I'm doing the typical YouTuber thing when you're busy and you want to record something and then you got to get it on there. I'm talking into a camera in my car. I wanted to react today to the news that Steve Jungbluth got fired by Florida. Now, I guess I'm already taking a step there by saying fired. The language that was used in the release is parted ways. But anytime you're a month into a season and something like that happens, and you don't even get to say that you left of your own volition, I think it's pretty clear, at least that part of it, that it was something happened that meant that there was an acute need for Steve to no longer coach there. Now, before I get into any of this, I always feel like I should reveal my biases. I have met Steve Jungbluth before. I met him actually way back when he was the head coach of Colgate, and I had a very favorable impression of him at the time. I thought that results-wise, I was really impressed by what he did at Colgate. I thought that the swimmers there were really overachieving, and I think if you look historically, it's probably the best that program has been for a long time. And I know that that was sort of the job that helped to get him in to University of Florida. Like I said, I don't want to get too far into the supposition of what happened, but what I want to speak more generally about is a topic that I talk a lot on this channel about, and that's emotional regulation. And earlier this week, last week, I did a podcast on something called fireproofing. And the idea there was that emotional regulation is an incredibly important skill as a coach, because you are going to be put in extremely stressful situations. And I think coaching at University of Florida has to be up there in terms of some of the most stressful situations. Of course, there's parts of it that are really enjoyable. I'm sure the competitive success is stuff. I mean, like, who doesn't want that? But there's also a tremendous amount of pressure, and that pressure is going to put you in really, really emotionally tough situations. And if you're not strong enough in your emotional regulation, then you're vulnerable to acting in a way that you don't necessarily want to act, and taking actions that may lead to you not having your job a month into the season. So I think that, in this situation, anytime you get separated from your job like that, so acutely, I've certainly been there, and you look back on, what could I have done different? What could I have changed in that respect? And I think there is an opportunity for all coaches to just figure out a way to deal with the good and the bad that comes with a high pressure, high stress situation. Find ways to change the way that you react when things happen in the moment, and find ways to deal with behavior that you're going to see. Maybe it's from a swimmer, maybe it's from somebody that you're working with, maybe it's from an administrator within the organization. It's going to trigger emotions with you. It's going to trigger strong emotions. Sometimes it's going to trigger really strong negative emotions in a way, and the behavior that follows from that can be all over the map, right? You can have behavior that falls from that actually really helps you in the long term, that sets you up to sort of just grow a little bit from the situation, to be a bit anti-fragile, to borrow a term from my favorite author, Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Or you can do stuff in those situations where you're going to end up doing something you really regret. And I think, all of us end up doing that. Most of the things that we end up doing that we regret don't result in like a really dramatic conclusion for us. It's just sort of an accumulation over time where we aren't getting that growth out of the situation, where we're sort of losing a little bit of our capital with the people that we coach, maybe the people that we work with over time. And that can mean that when a really bad thing happens, that can be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So for all of you who got the tease there in the podcast and hear about this course I'm working on, I actually have the course fully formed. Sat down, I have all the information for the course. Now I need to teach myself how to put it into a format that would be accessible to people doing it on an e-learning format. So if you're interested in a course in emotional regulation, reach out to me. You can reach out to me. I would think the best way would be to follow me on Instagram, ChrisD_coach on Instagram, or just look for Chris D Coach on Instagram. Lots of positive psychology content for you there as well. But if you're interested in doing something like that, I'm starting to put together the first course of its kind, and I'm pretty excited about what's in there. And there's 5 more that I've got in the hopper to sort of formulate and just get all the written out pieces of. And then hopefully I'll get into a format that will make sense for you guys to take. Anyway, this is a short video. I got to get back to a 8-year-old soccer game. So thanks everybody for listening, and I'll see you again soon.